A little girl is surrounded by vicious dogs whose teeth are as sharp as blades. Her uncle is holding a sword, and the little girl, seeing everything that is happening around her, is shivering with fear. Mia raises her sweet baby face. In her eyes, the reflection of the sword of the man who wants to kill her is cast away. In a trembling voice, her niece asks the Count why he is doing such a cruel thing to her. Looking at the girl with disgust, Count Evelyn states the fact that he will do anything for the sake of his family. And some dirty girl will not be able to affect his life. So the Count, with eyes full of rage and disdain, orders that the dirty girl be silent and accept her death. Little Mia begins to cry and say she is very scared. The dogs anticipate the taste of blood and begin to bark, even louder. The uncle raises his sword arm to attack the girl. After a piercing blow, blood splatters in all directions. The dogs pounce on the dead body to tear it to pieces. Mia wakes up in her bed and realizes that she is truly horrified by the dream she saw. The girl realizes that she has seen the nightmare again. But the next moment she realizes that there is no time to sleep because she has to keep training. Mia tries to pronounce different words and realizes that she is still not very good at pronunciation. She is still very young. Although she is 5 years old, but she continues to say some sounds in a slurred way. Mia realizes that she can't give up, so she looks at the stump in the middle of the room and starts yelling at it that it's the criminal Count Evelyn. In between trying to pronounce different sounds, the girl dreams of gold coins that are very bright and beautiful. Mia very much wants gold coins, imagines that she will come to her father and ask for money for upbringing. She does not know such a word as child support. In addition, Mia wants not just money, but also to be paid with gold coins. People may think that Mia is obsessed with money, but there's some truth to that assumption. But Mia doesn't just want lots of money. She wants to save her life. Mia realizes that she needs the gold, but she's more likely to starve to death. And even if she has the money, without freedom, she'll quickly lose it. Mia hopes that today the door will be opened. The girl has never really gone beyond the strange door that is in her room, so no one can save her. Mia lives at Evelyn Manor, but she's not like a person. She's more like a ghost. The only thing the girls can do is endure. Now Mia's stomach is rumbling. She's incredibly hungry and would like to eat at least a little, but unfortunately she has no food. But Mia remains determined because the big days are coming. She needs to practice her pronunciation more to finally learn how to pronounce words correctly. People might wonder why the girl Mia is locked up. In truth, Mia is the daughter of the Holy Virgin. Her name is Arlena Evelyn. She is the 9th daughter of God. Her mother is a member of the El-Hala religion, practiced by half the people of the empire. In paradise lives an angel named Neraphim, who has sacred power. But to special people, this angel gives real power. The people the angel gave the power to are called holy maidens and holy knights. All of their direct descendants were born with dazzling ash hair. Thanks to Mia's mom, the Evelyn family was able to gain great wealth and power. One day, Mom showed up home pregnant. No matter how many times she was questioned, she wouldn't tell her father's name. But the secret was revealed the moment Mia was born. The surrounding people in the palace were incredibly surprised because the child was supposed to have ash-colored hair. So Mia was despised from that time onwards. It wasn't the girl's fault that she was born with such a hair color. She didn't choose who and when she was born. Dark hair was a special trait of those who used brutal powers, and black hair remained a symbol of demons who were enemies of Neraphim. Right after Mia was born, she was hidden in a secret room, and her mother died of illness not long after giving birth. The other half of the empire's population practiced the devil cult, but the Evelyn family, which gave birth to holy virgins, could not accept such a religion. People said that Mia was a filthy devil seed that had killed the true righteous race. They said a child like Mia should never have been born. Uncle said he would not be promoted to cardinal because his sister had such a vile child. The status of the Evelyn family was shattered after Mia's birth. This made Mia an outcast from birth. Once a day, a maid comes to Mia to change her diaper, and once a week the butler teaches her to write, and that is the end of all communication of little Mia with the real outside world, although the girl has mysterious dreams. The girl realizes that she has to get out, otherwise she will die without even seeing the real world. But Mia doesn't understand where she will go without money in her pocket. The girl realizes that the evil uncle said that the girl requires a huge amount of money for her education, even though she is very poor compared to other children of aristocrats. The aunt very often said that Mia was taking a huge amount of money from their family, so the girl needed to die so that the family could save money. Mia, who had not seen the real world and did not know how much money aristocratic children usually spent, thought that it took a lot of money to provide for a person. She did not understand. Why keep her alive if she was so useless? Mia found out the reason earlier this year on her birthday. Her aunt came to Mia's house for the first time in 3 months and shouted in anger that the girl had ruined her sister's life, so she should die immediately. Her sister then said that it was impossible that such a devilish brat could be born in their family. The aunt accused Mia of killing her sister. The girl cried and apologized. Mia said it was her fault too. No forgiveness. The aunt then stood by the girl and started abusing her. The aunt told Mia to repeat after her that she had killed her mom, and that her mom had died because of the birth of the little devil. Mia was left with nothing else to do, except to repeat in tears the words that it was she who killed her mom. The aunt started to abuse the girl even more, who, according to the aunt, is the real killer. That's why she needs to write down on paper 1,000 times that it was Mia who killed her mom. After all, the girl already knows how to write, so she can do the job. Mia remembers the butler's lessons. The first thing that pops into her head is that she doesn't have a last name. Auntie says Mia ate her mom. Auntie says that until Mia writes 1,000 times the sentence that it was she who killed her mom, then the girl will not see the food. After saying these words, the aunt left the little girl to write painful words on paper. The girl continued to write that she was the one who killed mom, and she was the devil spawn. Mia really started to think that she was a freak who shouldn't have been born, and the girl just needed to die. Mia cries and realizes that she wants to live. She doesn't want to die like her relatives want her to. The girl wants to really taste life, to be free, to get out of that damn mansion she's imprisoned in, to finally breathe fresh air. Also, the girl has never seen real grass and trees and sky. The girl just wants to enjoy a quiet life. In the scribbled pages about killing her mom, Mia lies crying. Mia imagined that her mom wouldn't scold her daughter, and if she was alive, then they would definitely be a happy family. That day, Mia passed out from helplessness and fell into a long sleep. After a while, there was a dream when the aunt started kicking the girl and told her not to stand still because she had to go forward. Everything was so realistic that not a single picture was erased from Mia's memory. Each of the 4 dreams began, however. One day after her birthday, Mia was let out of the room. Having received a normal bed and clean clothes, Mia began to follow all the instructions of the housemates, as the girl wanted to stay in the new room and not go back. The first dream was a real nightmare. Mia secretly allowed to visit the Capitol reception. True had to hide the girl's dark hair. Mia had to wear a real wig. Then the aunt told Mia to go to the young man standing in front and hand him a glass. Because this drink is very healthy. That boy's name was Abel Dundevra, from the Archduchy of Dundivra, who was an opponent of the religion of Valhalla and was at the heart of a devil's cult. Mia realized that she should have thought at least once about why she had been told to give a glass to the second son of this family. But the girl was so much afraid that if she ignored the order, she would be punished again, that she could not even think of not fulfilling her aunt's request. When the girl brought a glass to Abel, the guy smiled and thanked the cute girl. But the next moment after he drank the glass of poison, blood began to flow from his mouth and tears from his eyes. The guy had a heart attack, and after a while, he collapsed to his death. A few months later, Mia found out what she'd done. The aunt was happy to call Mia a murderer. After the murder of the heir Abel Dundivra, a large-scale war suddenly broke out. To avenge Khalid, the demon worshippers, led by the Dundevra family, took up arms. They declared war on all adherents of the El Hela religion. After the declaration of war, the Evlan clan, the Sacred Knight, and the temple priests confronted each other. In the end, Mia learned that for some unknown reason. Her own uncle had used Mia to provoke the war. Mia realizes that what her uncle did was truly horrible, and she doesn't even want to call him uncle after all he has done to her. So Mia decides once and for all that she will call him Count Evelyn. Even after what happened, Mia continued to be imprisoned for a very long time. No one even visited the girl, and she was finally tired of hunger and hopelessness. Mia realized that it was all her fault. If her dream had ended at that moment, she wouldn't have been able to make any plans. Luckily, the dream continued. Mia saw her biological father in the dream. He asked Mia, was she really his daughter? Mia couldn't believe that she had found her birth father. She couldn't even say anything out of excitement. Could it be her birth father, Archduke Dundivra? Now the girl really knew what to expect. But still, Mia couldn't believe that her mother loved their enemy. Count Evelyn must have been hiding Mia, so her father, Duke Dundivra, couldn't find her. Count Evelyn did everything he could to make Mia undetectable. But Mia realizes that not knowing the truth doesn't change the fact that the girl killed her half-brother with her own hands. That's where her first dream ends. In the second dream, she didn't do as she was told, and soon she was killed by the Count. He let a hunting dog mutilate her breathless body, and then he threw Mia at the main gate of the Dundivra family, an act that also led to war. After the girl was discovered by the people of Dundivra Manor, they immediately realized whose daughter she was. Because of the death of a member of the Dundivra family, bloodshed broke out. The third dream was more or less normal. In this dream, Mia provoked the maids of the manor who hated the girl. They started pouring cold water on Mia at the washing place on the day of the reception, but Mia picked a good moment and escaped. Mia couldn't go to the orphanage because the Evlon family would have found her immediately. Mia had to squeeze into a bunch of street hooligans, but unfortunately she was too young to socialize with them. After all her hardships, Mia happened to meet a merchant from whom she could learn a job. No one would have thought that Mia came from a secular family. After a while, she managed to become the manager in charge of the cash register. It was a very long and tedious dream. When the girl had the third dream, she wanted to wake up because it made her feel a little nauseous. But if we talk about the fourth dream, it was a little strange and short. Then someone stroked her head and called her by name Mel instead of Mia. It was her birth father who really loved his daughter. Mia didn't know why the name was so pleasant to her ears. Mia remembered the fourth dream with real peace and tranquility. It was her favorite dream when she could finally meet the person who loved her just for the fact that she existed. But when Mia woke up, after a lifetime of abuse and constant hunger, she couldn't understand why her father valued her so much because she had killed her mother, whom her father loved so much. The girl concluded that this is a trap and nothing good will ever happen to her. Mia is doomed to suffer for the rest of her life, and soon she will die. But then one day, Mia got the idea that suddenly these dreams show a real future that could happen. That thought really struck Mia, because if she's allowed to choose her own future path, then maybe she could get out of the trap her aunt and uncle had put her in. Mia's plan was stupidly simple. She had to do everything point by point, so starting with the first point of her plan, she has to tell her dad about her uncle's evil plans. Mia is sure that her father will listen to what she has to say, since he has a feud with the Evelyn family. Point 2. The girl must ask for payment for the information she will give her father, because the girl wants money very badly. If Mia had money, a lot of problems could be solved very easily. In the dream, the father did not show hatred to Mia, and if instead of education to ask him for money, then perhaps the girl will do worse. But with money, she will not be in danger in the future life, and Mia will be able to provide for herself. Point 3. It is necessary to demand to hire a guard or to find an institution that can provide protection for Mia because she can really be hunted by the Evelyn family. Item 4. Mia needs to get some money and find her own way in life. Mia doesn't want to be dependent on anyone, so she is going to do her best to free herself from the rules and laws of others. Mia is sure that everything will work out. In addition, she is constantly practicing her pronunciation. If demons also have their own god, then she will ask him to make her daddy a good man. Then Mia will really succeed, and the girl will finally be free. After some time in the room, or to be more precise, someone enters the prison. Mia hears the doors open with a nasty click. The uncle and aunt come into Mia's room and look at the girl unhappily. They are dressed in beautiful outfits that show that they live very well compared to their niece, who's been wearing rags all her life. The girl greets her uncle and aunt and tries to put on her face the mask of a sweet and innocent girl. Mia says that she missed her uncle and aunt. The next moment, the uncle tells Mia to follow them. Why does the uncle call her? Because normally this would never happen. But the uncle says that Mia will live somewhere else now. The girl starts to rejoice and shines like a little sun. This behavior is noticed by the aunt, who looks at her niece with great displeasure. She turns away and looks at her niece with contempt. The next moment, when uncle and aunt look forward and don't see Mia's face, she finally shows her true face of a stubborn girl who never gives up. Mia realizes that everything is fine because her dreams started when she left this room. Now, Mia has a chance to change her destiny. It is her turn to choose which path she will follow. The girl sits on the bed and is surprised that it is really soft. This room is also old, but it is not cold, and there is no skid in the floor. The memory of the first dream is where Mia is supposed to sit next to her aunt at the dinner table, but it's evening and she's still here. So it's not the first dream, and Mia suspects that the reason for it was the girl's behavior of sitting on the bed and screaming furiously. When the maids tried to pick her up, she was biting, and one of the maids immediately took her hand where the little girl's bite was visible. The aunt at this point told the maids to leave the little demon. The count tells the maids to let this animal get used to it for a while. Mia realizes that this decision allowed her not to go to dinner with her aunt. She was incredibly happy because thank God that so far all the events coincide with the third dream. After a while, the maid has to bring her food, and Mia thinks about how she should behave in this situation. She can try to behave as she likes. Then the maid decides to throw water on Mia. She can find a convenient moment and escape. After that, she has to go straight to her father. He's considered a horrible, demonic archduke, but Mia thinks her father won't kick out her own blood. Mia is determined that she will escape from this hell and no one will be able to hold her captive. She will go to her beloved father who will protect her and will not hurt her. And also, Mia hopes that he will give her a lot of money because the girl still loves gold. Mia realizes that she has to get the money. The girl starts to practice saying different words and she's not very good at it. She's not very good at it yet. At some point, a maid comes in and brings her food. It's the maid who was bitten by Mia. She smiles very slyly and tells Mia to help herself. Mia looks at the maid's face and realizes it's just as she thought. This woman tormented her like hell in every dream. For example, she followed her around and brought her completely inedible food. This treacherous woman has done more harm to Mia than all the other maids combined. Mia sees that this time the maid who was bitten by her brought disgusting food. Mia realizes that if she eats this disgusting food, she'll get indigestion. Especially Mia doesn't have any cutlery, because this disgusting maid didn't put anything on her. The girl realizes with disdain that this maid is really bullying her. Mia looks at the monster and asks, does she think that Mia is a real animal that has to eat with her hands? Mia has only two options when she is hungry. She can eat, or she can eat by force. However, in the third dream, she refused to eat. Then Mia ordered the maid to feed her. But the maid said my lady must eat on her own. Mia turned away and said that if the maid didn't feed Mia, she would tell the Earl all about the maid's behavior. The girl says she'll bring the cutlery then. The maid thought the girl didn't even know what cutlery was. But Mia ordered the maid to feed her with her hands. The girl said it was her hands and she couldn't feed Mia. Mia angrily asks why she has to eat with her hands then, and the maid says that she just forgot to put Mia's cutlery. Mia starts complaining that the maid can't do her job properly. Mia chides the maid for not even feeding the baby properly. At this point, the maid gets really angry and looks like a monster. The maid curses Mia. Mia orders the maid to leave, and also Mia tells her to redo dinner and knock before going into her room. The maid says Milady doesn't know how long it takes to cook, so the maid can't do it. Mia turns away and says that if the maids don't meet her conditions, then Mia will tell the Count about her. Mia realizes that the Count is coming here soon and needs to seize the moment. The maid says that Mia is the devil and that she is the spawn of the demon. Mia says she is, and it's obvious she is. When Mia tries to call the Count to come and hear the girl complaining about the maid's behavior, the girl shuts her hand over Mia's mouth. Mia knew the maid wouldn't want to be caught, so the taunts are purely the maid's idea and not an order from the Count. Mia says that if she doesn't like it, then the maid can take the food with her hands. Mia sees how angry the maid is and realizes that she doesn't like to take orders from a child. But Mia realizes that she has no other choice. Now it's up to the maid to play by her rules. Mia threatens the maid that she'll be fired if she continues to behave like this. The girl starts yelling at Mia and accuses her that this girl is a real dirty louse. The maid says that there is no place for Mia here and it is unfair to call her milady. The girl tells Mia that the girl will not be in such care for long, and sooner or later she will be locked up in that old room again. Mia shows with her whole face that she realizes that her happiness will not last long, and the maid has not opened America to her. At some point, another maid who is at the door tells the evil maid that the Count is coming. The wicked maid is astonished. It's not as if the Count suddenly decides to come. Mia takes as much air into her lungs as possible to shout loudly. The Count hears some noises and decides to go into his niece's room to see what's going on. The Count sees Mia's dinner piled on the floor, and the girl herself has an impact mark on her. Before Graf came in, Mia masterfully pulled off her own deception. The girl punched herself in the face and knocked over the tray of food. The next moment, when the Count decided to ask what was going on, Mia tearfully complained to him. Mia said that the maid ordered the girl to eat with her hands, and if she refused, the maid would cut her hair so that Mia would be as bald as her uncle. The maids were amazed at how Mia pulled off her deception. The dreams that the girl had seen helped her find the insult that the Count hated most, for she had just said that the maids were talking about her uncle's bald head. When Count Evelyn heard about his bald head, he would literally lose his mind with anger. Mia skillfully used the information from the dreams to accuse the maids. Mia began to tearfully complain that the maids had told her about her uncle's baldness, who had gone bald because of laziness and overeating. The Count can't take it anymore. He's shaking with anger, and the maid tries to explain something to the Count, but the next moment, Count Evelyn explodes. He can't stand his emotions any longer and doesn't even try to listen to the girl's excuses. The Count starts to ask how the lousy maid dares to insult him. The girl tried to justify herself somehow, but the Count ordered her to punish the maid immediately for such behavior. The maid tried to justify herself and tell the Count to dry up because Mia was lying. But at this moment, Mia realized that the maid could say goodbye because only in this way Mia will be hated by the other workers. Only in this way, Mia will be able to be in the laundry place. At that moment, as the maid screams in anguish at her punishment, Mia realizes that it was the only way to escape this hell. Mia realizes that the Count did not suspect anything, and it was not for nothing that Mia slapped herself, which could have been even more convincing in the argument that the maid was abusing Mia. The Count stares intently at the girl. She realizes that the man probably wants to kill her and get rid of all the problems the girl is carrying with her. According to the dreams she's had, she doesn't have to die today, so she still has a chance to live. Mia hopes that she will be able to fulfill her plan and finally meet her father. When the Count looks closely at Mia's face, he tells her to leave the girl without dinner. Then the Count leaves Mia's room. At this point, Mia's stomach starts to hurt from hunger. But inside, the girl realizes that this is her little victory now. It coincides with her third dream when she finally escapes from the manor. The girl realizes that such a small victory was quite precious to her. The next morning, she didn't get any food either. Only by noon, Mia, lying in bed, heard some sound when the maid came in. She loudly put a tray of food on the table and emotionlessly said that her lunch had arrived. Mia, like a true animal, pounced on the food she had waited so long for. It was as if Mia wasn't crying with happiness, that she could finally have a proper meal. As Mia ate, she realized that if she got the money for her upbringing, she could eat good food every day and not have to ask other people for food. The girl thinks about her father, Archduke Khalid. They call him the demon of war. The butler tells Mia that her father is one of the real demons, and his two sons are complete opposites, like fire and ice. No one knows who they were born to or when they were born. The only thing we know is that the brothers are both strong and cold-blooded. Mia was eating and thought the second son she poisoned in one of her dreams was a little less emotionless compared to the other brother. Mia realizes that it was just a dream and she needs to focus on her main task in order to complete everything and finally be able to escape from here. The girl begins to wonder if her father will believe her, but Mia can only sell information that can prevent the collapse of the world. The girl imagines in her head that she will see her father and say that she will sell all the information cheaply for only 1,000 gold coins. The girl must learn everything because it can't be otherwise. Mia is very naive and imagines in her head the thoughts that calm her down. 2 days pass and someone visits the girl. The person says that there is a terrible stench in the room and that the creature must be washed. The voice also tells Mia not to forget to put on the wig, as it is one of the key elements of the plan. Mia hears these words and realizes that this is finally the moment that Mia has been replaying in her head over and over again. When the count leaves, the maids look at Mia angrily and decide to drag her away. The maids look angrily at the little girl and hold out their hands to finally carry out their evil plan of revenge on the little girl who had so badly framed the maids that day in front of the count. The girls drag Mia by her arms and legs and tell her that she must go with him to wash herself, because there is a good place for Mia where no one will find them, and the maids will remain unpunished for their behavior. Mia tries to break free and screams to be let in and get her hands off. Mia starts to call for her uncle to come and rescue Mia, but the evil maid says that the count has already left and Madame Marianne is gone too. So Mia can scream all she wants. The maids throw Mia's body on the floor so that the girl hits the floor as hard as she can. They stare angrily at the little girl. Mia realizes that she can take it and it's okay, she's strong and will get through all of this. It's Trinity who is unaware of her aunt's imminent return. Now cold water is pouring on her and then Mia screams, as loud as she can. Cold water is poured on Mia and she endures all the agony. The maids start laughing evilly and say Mia needs to be clean. The evil maid tells Mia to wash her hair thoroughly, but there's no way to wash off that nasty black color. Mia realizes that they only hate her because they profess to be hells, so Mia shouldn't be upset. But Mia is shaking from the cold. She is very cold, and the girl has never felt so cold. Mia is really shaking from the cold, and her body just stands powerless before such elements. The maids start laughing after all. Look at this noble woman. She's such a nasty girl who thinks she's the mistress. At one point, when Mia was looking around trying to find a place to run away, she discovers a small crawl space she could climb through, but it's small enough for a grown man to follow her. At one point, all that's heard is the sound of heels. The servant girls are discovered by an aunt who asks what they are doing here. The woman was really surprised and demanded that the maids explain to her what was going on here. Mia realizes that she must act now because there will be no second chances. So the next moment she bites the maid who was holding her, and after the maid let go of the dress she was holding in her other hand, Mia takes the dress and starts running with all speed to her rescue. At the last moment, Mia meets the gaze of her aunt, who looks at the girl in surprise, who does not look at all like the small and helpless Mia that her aunt knew. Mia concentrates as much as possible and without a doubt starts to climb through the hole, but the evil maid tries to hold Mia's leg with her last strength. Mia doesn't give up and tries to break free. The girl starts kicking her legs as hard as she can to save her life. Mia finally manages to fight off the maid, and so she climbs completely out of the other side of the crawlway, after which the girl from her dress starts to run away. She remembers about the alley behind Evelyn's mansion. Mia knows that in the third dream, she has walked all these streets many times, so the girl is really confident in her abilities and knows which route she needs to follow. Mia puts on her dress, which she was able to take from the hands of the servants when she escaped. She realizes that not the servants and not the knights, no one will find her here because she really knows these streets better than they do. She's lived here a real long life, so she knows these streets like the back of her hand. The next moment, Mia is discovered by evil men who see what a beautiful dress Mia is wearing. They realize that such a dress is worth a lot of money, and they can get good money. If you take the dress away from her, they wonder, is this a real aristocrat who's running around? Running through the streets unprotected. Mia looks at these guys and realizes she's about to get caught, and then something bad happens. Mia realizes that she needs to run out into the great outdoors where she'll be safe. The man tries to catch up with her, but Mia ends up running out into the crowd of people, and the evil man's hand slips behind the fleeing girl, and he is unable to grab her. Mia only stops when she finds herself in the midst of a crowd of people. A carriage rides down the street with strange sounds coming from the pipes. The people around them cheer as the carriage passes by. His Highness the Archduke is riding in it. People try to show their loyalty to the Archduke by cheering. But Mia has run too far away and is under the carriage and is about to be crushed by the horse. Mia asks God to save her, for she cannot just die now. Mia closes her eyes and keeps asking for help from the higher powers to give her another chance at life. The next moment, the man sitting behind the cart orders the animal to stop. The horse stops and the little girl survives. The man sitting on the carriage says that Mia looks like a duckling pulled out of the water. Mia sees her father standing in front of her, the one she's seen in her dreams. Mia realizes that if this is really her father, and the plan she has so carefully planned can finally come to fruition. Mia is overjoyed that she has been so lucky. Mia realizes that she must tell him everything clearly, because she can't cry. The girl is shaking with excitement and joy. Mia tries to say something and is interrupted by her father, who is surprised that she smells familiar. Mia tries to say that it's only natural. Of course, she is his daughter, and therefore he should recognize her immediately. Mia starts crying loudly and screams for her father to give her money for her upbringing. Unfortunately for the girl, she can't get it out loud enough to say the phrase she's practiced so carefully. All those years she was held captive by the Evelyn family. The next moment, Mia is taken to the safe place. It's his palace. There, the girl can finally drink hot tea and be warm and cared for. The assistant asks Khalid, why did he decide to interrupt the reception with His Highness the Emperor because of this child? The Emperor is now very annoyed about the suspension of the meeting. Khalid says that the Emperor needs to be informed because Khalid has already danced enough in front of the Emperor, so now Khalid has the right to do what is required. If the Emperor makes any more demands, Khalid will have to kill him. The servant says this is a terrific answer, so he will give it to the Emperor. Mia looks at her father and realizes that her father has probably never been afraid of anything. She also realizes that her father is incredibly handsome. Mia instinctively feels a sense of superiority emanating from her father. It's as if Dad is a real hero who came out of a fairy tale. He has real power, and it feels like Father is at the top of the food chain. Mia tries her best not to be afraid of her father because he won't do her any harm. But she is still amazed that her father is so strong and beyond her expectations. The butler asks what they should do with this little child, and the father says that the first thing to do is to listen to the child. The father is amazed that the child smells something native. The servant tells Khalid that he understands, but it is late and the girls should sleep here. Khalid tells the butler to get someone to look after the girl. The butler says that this female is too precious for him to look after, so he will entrust the job to a hermaphrodite called Tina. Mia hears the men talking and doesn't understand who the hermaphrodite is and what they are talking about. The butler asks Khalid if they can serve the girl as well as the master. Khalid briefly lets him know that let it be so. In addition, the father thinks that he has returned after several years on the battlefield, when suddenly, a little girl appears who emits the scent of Dundevra. To top it all off, this little girl is asking for child support. Mia realizes that luckily the father is friendly with the girl. Mia doesn't know what will happen next, because there were no similar situations in her dreams. Mia realizes that she needs to pull herself together and show her best side in order to finally do what she wants and get rich. But the next moment, the girl starts to fall asleep and tries to drink tea to recover. But when Mia tastes the tea, she realizes how bitter the drink is. The girl realizes that it is a real abomination. There's a man watching. Mia covers her mouth because she is truly ashamed that her father and the butler saw Mia being cranky. Mia realizes that she needs to behave like an adult so she can sit down at the negotiating table. Father asks the butler, "Can't immature people drink tea?" The butler says they don't know because the butler has only seen the brothers drinking tea, and judging by the reaction, the girl obviously didn't like the tea. The father is surprised and says that Abel likes tea. The butler says that the father's comparison is wrong, for Abel was more than happy to eat the Minotaur's horn. Khalid agrees that he has compared the two people wrongly, so he orders the girl to be fed what she likes. The butler obeys the master and tells him what will be. Everything is done to perfection. Mia sees her father leave and realizes she can't let him go. Mia gets up and yells at her father, calling him daddy. The next moment, the mug of tea falls to the floor, and the girl runs with all her might to her father to prevent him from running away. Mia hugs her father's leg and says that this is her father, and she has finally found him. Mia realizes she has to hand over the information she has. She starts screaming that she wants to make a deal or she'll poison her father. The girl grew up in captivity with no one explaining to her about how to talk properly and about the relationship between normal families. So the girl doesn't know what she's saying now. She thinks she didn't say anything weird, but the father and the butler realize that the girl is acting really weird. The father starts smiling and asks, if he refuses the deal, Mia will poison him. Father realizes that this is just like the real devil. Father is happy because he recognizes her blood. Mia doesn't understand why her father would think that way, and she doesn't understand why the devil is here. The next moment, the father turns his attention to the girl and comes closer and takes her in his arms. He picks up his daughter and sees that she's burned her foot. Apparently, when the girl was running to her father, she knocked over a mug of tea, and the hot drink burned the skin on her leg. The father wonders, did Mia want to run up to him so badly and didn't even pay attention to the hot tea? Father orders that Livius treat the girl's wound. Livius bows to his majesty and says he will do the right thing. Livius approaches Mia and begins to create magic with his hands that heals the girl's wounds. Mia is surprised how quickly the burn on her leg heals and decides to thank her so that people will treat her better, because people like to be thanked. When Livius hears Mia's thanks, she blushes sincerely. Because being a real demon, this is the first time Livius has ever been praised by a special female. So Livius says he'll leave for a while. After Livius leaves, Mia finds herself in the same room with her father. Now it's time for Mia to come clean. She looks at her father and tries to force herself to say something because she has been rehearsing this conversation for a long time to finally say it to her father. Mia decides that the most important thing is to take her time and say everything slowly, clearly, and without mistakes. Mia looks at her father and says that her father should not go to today's reception. Khalid wonders why he doesn't have to go to the appointment, but the girl says that she was looking for her father to tell him this. She also says that she had a very difficult escape. The father asks, "Is the girl asking him for money?" Mia didn't expect him to recognize so quickly the real reason why she wanted to share this information. Because Mia really loves money very much. She would have told this information to save the lives of many people. But she realizes that money is very necessary. That's why she's just going to say things like that. Mia tries to say that the information should be paid for, and it is normal practice. Her father agrees to pay, and Mia also reminds him about the money for education. But in some moments, Mia realizes that she hasn't told the most important thing yet, which is what will happen at the reception. Mia blushes and doesn't know how to say the right thing. She decides that before telling the main information, her father should give her half of the money. The father smiles and agrees to give Mia. He says that Mia can choose what she wants as a down payment. Mia says she wants something small and shiny and expensive. She realizes that if her father gives her a huge pile of gold, Mia won't be able to carry it herself. So she decides that the best thing is something small and tiny that can fit in her hand so she can sell it as high as possible. The father removes a jewel from his suit or holds out a real treasure in his hand. The father asks if it's enough to cover half the amount. Mia wants to know what it is. Is it really a gemstone because the edges are silver? What's in the middle? Mia wonders. Maybe it's a sapphire. In her third dream, Mia knows about stones thanks to her work in a jewelry store. She has seen many different stones there, but she has never seen such a jewel before. She realizes that this is an archduke's cufflink, which is definitely expensive. Mia decides to tell him that Abel is going to be killed and the culprit is Count Evelyn. Mia sees her father's scary eyes looking at her and becomes very scared. She also tells her that the way to kill Abel will be poisoning. Her father is really surprised and looks at Mia and says that the Nerif rat is probably crazy. Mia, telling further that the Count is using the child. Abel can't drink from someone else's glass or he'll die, Mia hears. The father finally comes to his senses and with a real look of confidence tells Mia that he understood her perfectly. The father also says that they will talk about child support and Mia being his daughter a little later. The father also strokes Mia and tells her that next time she should be more careful and not run towards him so carelessly. The girl really starts to shake with pleasure and shame. After all, no one has ever interacted with her like this before, and Mia is not used to such loving affection. Her father asks why Mia starts to run away, but he has no idea that such treatment is so unfamiliar to the girl. Mia holds out her dress to her father and says it needs washing. It's dirty from today's adventures. The father looks at the girl with a frustrated look and silently leaves the room. Mia sees the door close behind her father and doesn't understand if her father smelled something bad about Mia. He must have realized how dirty she was, so he decided to leave the room. The next moment, Tina enters the room. This is the maid who greets the little milady and says she will help with anything Mia asks. Mia greets the maid by the name of Tina and is surprised to see her horns. Mia has not seen such things before, and Tina notices Mia's stare. Tina apologizes and says that unfortunately she can't remove her horns. Mia begins to sincerely and wonders what kind of horns these are. Is the girl named Tina, who is now standing in front of Mia, really a demon? But in the next moment, Tina leans over to Mia and says that it's okay because she is completely kind and not to harm the lady. Only the higher demons like Mia can hide their horns completely. Tina can't hide her horns, unlike Mia, so it's only natural for the handmaiden to look like that. Mia points her finger at herself and is genuinely surprised. Is she a higher demon but no horns? Tina says that Mia hasn't grown up yet and will soon have horns. When the girl is stronger and more mature, Mia will be able to hide her horns. Tina leans even closer to Mia and says that Milady should make herself at home. Tina is here to take care of Mia, and the girl says she understands Tina. At this point, Mia really thinks that Tina is very kind and gentle, and Mia has never interacted with such kind people before, unless you take her father and butler as an example. Tina holds Mia's hand and says that she will answer all of Mia's questions, but first they have to wash up. Mia washes herself in hot water, which the girl has never seen in her life. At this point, Tina pours warm water to make the girl feel comfortable. Tina likes to wash herself here. Mia happily and sincerely says that she likes it here very much, and Mia also wants to know, is Tina a woman or a man? Because before Mia had heard some conversations that might have alarmed her. After all, Mia heard from the butler the word hermaphrodite, but never understood what it meant. Mia also wondered if her question would sound rude. Tina says she looks like a woman, but in reality all lower demons like her are born genderless. It's all done for the convenience of catering to the higher demons. Mia asks about which demons Tina is talking about, and the maid puts her hand over her heart and tells her that her job is to take care of the higher person. But Tina didn't know that she would be serving a female higher demon. For Tina, it's a true honor, Mia wonders. But Mia also thinks that if there is a god with the angel Neraphim, there are demons with the devil. It turns out that Daddy and Tina together with Livius are demons and also Mia. The girl is a little saddened by the fact that she is just like them. Mia realizes that this fact is shocking. She can't believe that the Count's words about the devil's spawn were true. But still, Mia realizes that it all seems strange. She's been taught that demons are bad, but Tina is gentle and kind. The next moment, the maid is surprised and says that Mia has a beautiful and distinct mark. Tina is sure that when she awakens, Mia will be an incredibly powerful demon. But Mia says it's just a normal birthmark. Tina tries to explain to Mia that it's a mark, and Mia was lied to by someone about the birthmark. Tina, with a smile on her face, explains to the little girl that she doesn't know how to use magic yet, so she doesn't see the mark as anything special. But it looks different in Tina's eyes. Mia asks what her mark looks like, and Tina replies that her beautiful mark looks like a real butterfly. This comes as a shock to Mia because she has a birthmark, or rather a mark that adorns her body like a beautiful butterfly. Mia is surprised that such a beauty on her body really excites a girl. Mia is very happy to have such beauty, because before all the people around her said she was ugly. Now it turns out she has a beautiful butterfly on her body. Mia asks Tina if the Duke is married, because Mia has heard that the Archduke has 2 sons. Tina listens attentively to the girl. Mia realizes that the other children are not her mother's, so her father married another woman, and there are 2 brothers. Mia knows that she and her brothers have different blood, so Daddy has a wife who will dislike Mia. The girl imagines in her head a woman who will look at her menacingly and dislike Mia for the fact that she just exists. If that woman were to bully Mia, like an ant, then Mia doesn't know what to do or where to go. Tina says that marriage is a new word to them and demons. There's no such thing. Tina says that precious female demons like Mia meet and have children, and they don't have to commit to marriage and be responsible for raising the child. Mia is truly amazed. She didn't know about this fact, and now she will remember it as a fact of life for her race. Tina says Mia should know it too, because if she meets some scumbag who refuses to raise a child, Mia should break that man's limbs. Tina uses the example of the poor rubber duck to show Mia how Mia should deal with a man who refuses to raise a child. The next moment, Tina stays very kind again and asks Mia that maybe it's time. Mia realizes that the father has raised his children by himself. The father must have fed them well and clothed them in warm clothes. Mia realizes that she doesn't need to be jealous, but she's still upset that her brothers had a real childhood. However, her brothers have different lives than Mia. Tina wipes Mia with a towel and cheerfully says that she's sure Mr. Cayenne and Mr. Abel will be very surprised when they see little Mia. Mia hears the name Cayenne for the first time. She realizes that it is the name of her first brother, and inside herself, Mia realizes that it is a very nice name. Mia hopes that she will become friends with her brothers. But the next moment, Mia realizes that there is no point in her learning the names of the inhabitants of this house because she is on her own and alone, and no one will help her. Sooner or later, the girl will be kicked out of here. It is unlikely that she will become part of the family. Mia doesn't want to ruin the idol with her presence. The girl realizes that she doesn't have much choice, and it's God's fault that the girl was born different. When the father comes again, the girl will finish their deal and disappear so as not to cause any more trouble for the father. Mia. When she is already in her room, she tells Tina that the drink she brought is very sweet, and Tina says that the girl is right. Mia also wonders what is floating in her cup, and Tina happily says it's marshmallows that haven't completely melted. Mia really likes the word marshmallow a lot, and besides, these yummy treats are very sweet, and Mia has really grown to love them. This new drink that Tina came up with. The next moment, Tina puts Sophia to bed and says it's time for her to rest because she needs a good night's sleep to grow. Mia asks about the Archduke, and Tina says he's a bit busy so they won't see each other today. Tina says that Mr. All is at work because he has just returned from the battlefield and today he is visiting an important place. Mia falls asleep and hears all the words Tina just said. Mia wonders if her father has time to listen to her and if he can prevent Abel's death. Before falling asleep, Mia remembers the face of her brother who smiled at her in the dream before drinking the offered glass of wine. Mia doesn't want her brother to die. Tina leaves the room and tells Milady to get a good night's sleep. She leaves and Mia is left alone in the room. The girl realizes it's very nice to lie in a soft bed. She took a hot bath for the first time in her life and drank milk with marshmallows, which turned out to be very tasty. Mia had no idea life could be so beautiful, but this is not her home, and she can't get used to all these comforts. So Mia decides to get out of bed to keep her grip on her life, or it will be too sad to leave when she gets used to all the comforts. Events move to the Archduke's house. Father asks his butler, "How is the girl?" Livius replies that he's been told my lady is asleep and that Tina has bathed the girl and checked for butterflies on her body. The father thinks about it because he doesn't realize that the mother of her sons has no feelings of affection for him, so she wouldn't care about seeing someone else. Khalid himself refrained from seeing women in order to spend more time with his beloved children. And then it suddenly turns out that Khalid had a daughter all along. Khalid remembers what Mia looks like and realizes that his suspicions fall on the same one. The father decides there's no need to rush in just yet and asks Livius, "What's going on with the surveillance of the family?" Livius replies that it was reported to him that their knights were roaming the small alleys today. Livius says that Dunderdevra's men at the pawn shop thought it was strange, since the Knights of Evelyn don't usually patrol. Father smiles and says that the whole situation is quite amusing. He thinks that having generally understood the situation. Next, have the servant get the information and all the necessary inquiries on Arlena Evelyn. The butler is a little worried to ask, "Does the master want to know more information about the 9th daughter of God?" She came to Khalid before the war started. Then Arlena stood in front of Khalid and asked, "What does he care since he is not married anyway?" So Arlena asked Khalid to be with her and demanded to live together. Khalid was incredibly shocked by the daughter of God. He never would have thought that the daughter of God would want to have any kind of relationship with a demon. Khalid's eyes widened in surprise. Arlena became very embarrassed and couldn't stand Khalid's stare. She says she's tired of being the daughter of a god. Events return to Khalid's conversation with Livius. It was probably the day Arlena stole his energy. Livius says that as far as he knows, nothing happened that night. Khalid says that Livius was right, and then he turned her down. It was a bad situation because the war started before his plans, but Arlena could harness his energy and conceive on her own. The girl's age and the time she spent in confinement are the same. Livius can't understand Arlena Evelyn's humanity. She couldn't have gotten pregnant with just one energy like a demon. Mia's father says Livius is right, but Arlena is not only human, she's also God's daughter. She probably found some way to get pregnant, Livius asks Khalid. Does he think Arlena wanted to have a child to destroy her family? But Khalid remembers the eyes of Mia and Arlena. He compares them and says that they don't think so, because she probably wanted to raise a girl, but apparently she didn't know that the bearer of El Hela's power dies after giving birth to a demon child. Livius is amazed at what he has heard and asks what to do with little Milady. The father says they must observe first and asks how Abel is doing in the meantime. Livius tells him that the Lord was glad after Livius told him not to attend the reception. Khalid says he's clear, then turns to smoke and vaporizes into thin air. His face appears out of the smoke for a second, and he tells Livius that there will be a change soon. Khalid wonders what those wretched gnats of Neraphim are up to. Events take us to some strange hall where a huge number of people associated with the religion of El Hela are gathered. There, in the middle of the circle, kneels Uncle Mia, who apologizes for missing the Mia girl, a man. What's most important among them is saying that this was the only way to get rid of Abel Dundivra. The boy is so simple that he would accept a glass from a demon like him without a doubt. Uncle Mia is blue with fear and apologizes. He begs to be asked because he can solve everything and make things right. He says the girls are brainwashed and she'll come back. The men say that it was already decided before that the girl would not even think of running away. Uncle Mia is accused of being a lousy man who can't even handle one child. Their plan will fail if they can't eliminate Abel Dundivra. Uncle Mia says he's asking for another chance and he'll do anything. But the chief of the assembled men says that Uncle is useless and he must get out of here. The man uses his magic to throw the uncle out of their hall. Then the door closed as the uncle flew out of the hall with incredible speed, triggered by the priest's magic. On the day Arlena, his younger sister, was chosen as God's daughter, the uncle, being an unremarkable descendant of the Earl family, began to dream of glory that he could become a cardinal. The dream failed on the day the devil's seed was born, but on the night after Arlen's death, the voice of Neraphim came to his uncle. Then the angel told the man to let the child live, for one day it would be useful and must not be killed. but it must not be loved and cherished. The uncle followed the angel's order, and his efforts could raise him to the status of holy emperor. At one point, the uncle is noticed by the men around him, and they ask Count Evelyn if he is all right. One of the men is amazed at the Count's video. After all, Count Evelyn has been rejected and has a stigma on his head. The Count is truly distressed, for the branding is the punishment given by the Nephim to the fallen believers of El Hela. It is also the mark of a traitor who has lost the privileges of his religion. The men and women laugh at Count Evelyn and say he should be banished. They decide the Count should be banished because he is a traitor and should be done quickly so that no one sees him. They take off the Count's robe so that he won't disgrace the family. But someone says that they should leave him the mantle because at least a little pity should be shown to the Count. They kick him out and tell him not to come to the palace again. The former Earl of Evelyn sits on his knees and really upset about how he's going to live his life. The Count takes his head and realizes that he has to think about his future life. He has a lot of thoughts. For example, he could trade with the remaining money, or he could order Marianne to marry her ex-husband again. He has to think of something before rumors of his claimations spread around. At some point, Count Evelyn, who decided to go on a wagon to some estate, is approached by Hans. The man doesn't understand what is happening now because he didn't expect any attack during a usual carriage ride. The man sees with his own eyes how strange hands are approaching him that are about to take him. He asks who it is, and the next moment screams in pain. At this moment, somewhere in the Dundeaver estate, Mia is enjoying a nice drink. She can no longer live without milk and marshmallows. Mia realizes that it is time for her to leave home, but why her father keeps silent and doesn't say anything? Maybe he has forgotten about her because she is so small. Tina sees that Mia is in some upset feelings and decides to cheer her up a little. She asks, "Is Mia bored?" But Mia says it's okay, and she realizes that now she is not just bored, but her head is going to explode because she has a lot on her mind. Tina asks Mia. She might want to take a little walk around the mansion. Mia agrees to that. Tina says they can walk through all 666 rooms, and one room will be like a sea of pearls, and the other one will be filled with diamonds. Mia hears the money talk and immediately cheers up. Tina tells her that also in the center of the third floor is a room with His Highness's achievement. Mia thinks she wants to go to that room so she can learn more about her father, but then she's sure to go to the room with the precious pearls. Tina agrees and asks Mia to let her accompany Mistress. As Tina walks around the palace with Mia, she notices the close attention of many maids. Mia asks Tina, "Why are so many people looking at her?" Tina says that Mia is the most beautiful one here, and how can such a beautiful creature not be looked at? Mia doesn't agree with Tina's conclusions either, because all her life Mia has been told that she is an ugly demon that no one wants. Tina says that she is quite serious when she tells Mia about her extraterrestrial beauty. After a while, Tina asks that Mia pay attention because Tina made a key to show it off. Tina demonstrates the doors that lead to the Sun Diamond room. Tina cheerfully points to the door with her hands and tells Mia to pay attention to them. Mia ponders the sight of this door and thinks about the fact that such stones hold the light of the sun and are only added to the dragon cave. Sunstones can be called little suns, for they are close to the glow of which does not fade even from the dirtiest of hands. With a pebble from the wedding ring, you can buy a carriage or a whole mansion in the capital. Even with reliable servants, you can have fun for about 20 years. But Mia can't believe it. Is Tina really talking about a whole room of such expensive stones right now? Mia can't believe that it's possible, because it's probably a whole room for one modest stone that they keep. Tina confidently opens the door and says that now Mia will see the real surprise. Tina shows Mia the tree on which the gems are hung. Mia is truly amazed at the beauty of the tree, and Tina agrees with Mia. After all, Tina thought Mia would like something shiny. Mia, of course, knew that her father was rich, but this tree of sunstones exceeds all of Mia's expectations. In the third dream, Mia has only met a sun diamond once. Very much surprised to see such beauty, but she could not imagine that she would see a whole tree with them. Mia looks at the stones hanging on the branches and thinks that it is an amazing sight to the extent that even emotions at this moment just overwhelm her. Mia wants to at least touch these stones to enjoy them to the fullest, but at some point she remembers her question and turns to Tina. Mia asks where these stones come from, and Tina points her finger at the stones that were made 5 years ago, and the lower part of the crown has been filled in recently. Tina says that Mr. Livius worked very hard to find the highest quality sun diamonds. Mia looks at Tina and thinks at this point that these people may not even be aware of what Mia has seen. Mia points her finger at one of the sunstones and says it's a fake and they've been tricked. Mia, in her past life from her dream, was a good expert jeweler, so she learned to recognize fakes at a glance. Mia starts pointing at the stones that are hanging on the tree and says that there are a lot of fake stones. And after thinking for a while, she says with a little fear that all these stones are fake. Tina was really surprised to find out that the stones of this tree are all fake. Tina can't even express her emotions out of surprise. Mia begins to think that perhaps her words sounded too categorical and that she might be scolded and told that she doesn't understand anything. But Mia is really telling the truth. The real sun diamonds have bubbles inside them that rotate counterclockwise. These fakes have bubbles that move either randomly or clockwise. Mia realizes it's evil because they've been tricked. The sum of all these stones is very large, and Mia feels sorry for the Dundever family for losing so much money. Tina is a bit worried and tells Mia that Tina will go and call Mr. Livius. This gentleman really knows about stones, and he will be able to understand the girl. Mia is most of all surprised that Tina believes Mia's words, because before that, the girl was used to either nobody believing her, or she had to lie all the time with maximum cunning in order not to get caught. When Livius bursts into the sunstone room all excited, he can't believe what Tina has just told him because Mia assumes that the sunstones are fake. Mia says that at the top of the tree there may be real stones hanging, but at the bottom, Mia is 100% sure it's fake. Livius can't believe how this is possible. He's truly shocked by what the girl is saying. Mia obviously realizes that whoever gave these stones thought the deception would not be revealed, as a grown man would not get down on his knees and admire the stones day in and day out. What Livius is doing now is examining the stones to see if they're fake. If they saw the bottom crown, they wouldn't be able to recognize a fake. But Mia has the knowledge to recognize a fake. After all, she has the skills to do so, while Mr. Livius was examining the stones on the lower crowns. Tina says with some reproach that she couldn't believe that someone dared to fool the Dundever clan. Mia asks Livius if he needs her help. Livius says that if Mia wants him to, he'd be happy to. Mia says she has counted all the pebbles. She knows that Uncle Livius cured her leg, so she must help him. Mia starts pointing her fingers and showing Livius which stones are fake, and he writes them down in his notebook. Tina is amazed that Mia is so smart because the girl has incredible powers. Tina says she can't believe how Mia can tell the fake from the original because it's just incredible. Even Mr. Livius, who has been dealing with these things for decades, doesn't have such skills. Mia doesn't know how to answer Tina because she probably won't be believed if she says that she saw a real sun diamond in her dream. Mia comes up with a new story and tells Tina that she used her skill of recognizing gemstones to earn money for food because she eats a lot and it takes a lot of money. Tina looks at Mia with pity and realizes that the girl has had a very difficult past if she had to work for something to eat at such a young age. Mia says that she will still work for the Dundevra family to work off the money that is spent on food, because Mia is very demanding of herself. Tina asks who Mia told about the amount of money she spends on food. Mia says that she had an uncle and aunt who told her about it. Tina starts to cry and tells Mia that Milady eats like a bird and it doesn't take any money at all. Mia doesn't understand why Tina is crying and tries to comfort her. Mia holds out her hand to somehow help Tina stop crying. Tina starts to smile and apologizes that she couldn't take it. Mia says there is no need to shed tears because Tina is beautiful when she smiles. Tina agrees, and Mia thanks her for the compliment. The maid says she won't cry anymore. But still, Tina is heartbroken that Mia thought she had to earn money to pay back all that she eats because Mia really eats very little. Livius is standing in incredible shock at this point. near one of the trees and states the fact that approximately 710 billion and 9,800 Heffa are missing. In the next moment, Livius turns to Mia and says that thanks to her, the Dundivra family will be able to avoid losses, so he is incredibly grateful to Mia. Livius says he will tell His Highness that Mia was the one who discovered the problem. Mia says it's nothing, and that Livius shouldn't bother telling His Highness what she's worth. Livius says there's usually a reward for uncovering such widespread corruption. Doesn't Mia want one? Livius says the reward will be about 7,100 Heffa. Mia hears these figures and is astonished. Could she really get that rich just by getting a reward for such a simple task? Mia immediately turns into a real money devil and says that she will gladly accept this reward. The biggest paycheck Mia received at the jewelry store in the third dream was about 4,000 Heffe. Mia thinks that for some nonsense she is now being offered much more. Perhaps she can make a future out of it. She can become a jewelry appraiser. The girl wonders if even the Duke was cheated. What about the other families? Mia decides that she will not be turned away from a client because her skills are truly perfect. The moment Mia dreams of her future, she imagines that she will ask her daddy to hire her and she will be Duke Dundevra's personal appraiser. Mia's beautiful thoughts are interrupted by Tina, who says that she might suggest that she entrust everything to Mr. Livius. Meanwhile, the girls go to see the other rooms. Mia remembers that she would like to see the achievement room, and Tina says that it is very nice, so they will go there now. Mia realizes that the mansion is very grand, and they all keep walking up a huge number of stairs. At some points, Mia gets dizzy, and Tina notices that Mia is getting sick. Tina tries to cheer Mia up and tells her that they are almost there while calling Mia a smartass. Mia is really surprised by this treatment and a little shy to hear such nice words about herself. The next moment, Tina happily shows Mia the door to the room of achievements. They look really great. And what is most amazing is the butterfly that is also on Mia's chest. The girl wonders, why are there so many butterflies in this mansion? Tina opens the door and tells Mia to admire as many as she likes. This room is where the honorable history of Dundevra is kept. Mia enters the room with Tina by the handle and is amazed that the room is like a real museum. Mia starts to look into one of the exhibits and realizes she can't reach it because of her small stature. Tina sees this cute scene and apologizes to Mia because Tina should have taken it right away. It's just that Mia is small and looks very cute when she stands on her tiptoes. Next moment, Tina takes Mia in her arms, and now she will show Mia all the delights of the exhibits that are in this museum. Mia says she should have taken such great care of her, but Tina tries to tell her that it's okay and it's one of her jobs. Mia looks at the exhibits that are in front of her and can't understand what it is for a girl to not understand the purpose of these things. Tina tries to explain that this jewelry is a silver bracelet called a cursed piece of metal. When His Highness was about 4 years old, he dealt with the evil spirit that was pestering the bracelet and brought it back. Mia wonders if the Archduke could do such a thing at the age of 4. Tina then shows the soldier and makes it look as if the information is very important. Tina tells him that this soldier is a cursed doll that haunts its owner in hopes of killing him. How much? Don't throw it away. This doll comes back again and again and is a real headache. Mia looks at this frightening soldier and wonders, Didn't this one stand still, and why now his arms are in a different position? Tina tells that the doll failed to defeat His Highness at the age of 7 in the hands of Mr. Archduke. Then the Lord abused the doll as best he could. And now the soldier is kept in confinement here. Mia wonders, did her father play with all these things? They're really creepy. Tina says that rumor has it that they were, and says that His Highness used to take on the role of a warlord and train the doll. Mia sees the doll standing there as if all frightened, pleading for no one to touch it. Mia realizes she was scared for nothing. Next, Tina tries to explain to Mia. What the next exhibit is, it's a pile of ashes, but it's not simple. As far as Tina knows, His Highness turned into ashes a vampire who terrorized the village because of that. Even now, demons are revered there. Mia wonders. Her father's childhood love of the occult is impressive, but Mia is very frightened that her father is a really strong man who can do a lot of things. Dahlia the maid leads the girl around the room and tries to tell her that the following exhibits are from when His Highness became an adult. They walk hand in hand, and Tina tries to show Mia. Mia is truly amazed as she sees the huge monster heads that hang on chains in front of her. They are all hunting trophies, stuffed heads of the most ruthless monsters and beasts. And at the bottom, it says how fierce the battle was. Tina sees how scared Mia is and she apologizes. Did the girl get so scared? The point the girl says she hates death on top of everything else? These stuffed heads are really scary. It's a stuffed head. The girl had a dream when her uncle cut off her head. So she has a real trauma because of which she cannot calm down now. Because the way these heads are hanging, the point of the girl's head could be hanging with them. To top it all off, even the Emperor's father threatens to kill Mia, and she's really scared of this kind of thing. The girl tries to persuade the maid to leave the place quickly because the girl is very frightened. Yu-an says that these heads are already dead and that the girl is not so much afraid. Then Tina shows the sword with which His Highness killed all the monsters. The girl sees this horrible murder weapon and realizes that she too could lose her life because of this sword. The girl gets really scared. Tina tries to calm the little lady down because Mia is really scared and starts to pull out of her arms to run away. After a while, the father was dealing with the maid about the incident. The father asks, had the girl fainted while looking around the room? Tina apologized for not being that experienced in handling the girl. The father asks thoughtfully, how was the girl feeling? The maid replies that she was fine during the day, but the shadow has not gone away completely, but yet my lady continues to eat quite well. The master asks how the girl is behaving at night. The maid is a little worried and says that during the night she found out about this point, Milady had fallen asleep in bed before her eyes, and when she looked in the room again, she found her sleeping on the floor. The maid could not have expected the girl to dare to lie on the floor because the bed is really soft and cozy to sleep in. The maid does not know why the girl decided to do that. The father wonders, why didn't the girl sleep on a soft and warm bed? He told her to make sure that the girl had enough clothes and food. Did the bed turn out to be really uncomfortable? Tina talks about her speculation that maybe the girl was scared, so she decided to do that. The father asks what exactly the maid is talking about now, and the girl replies that most likely Mia was afraid to be happier. At this point, the girl is sleeping peacefully and doesn't even realize that she is being talked about. The maid tells her that this is only her guess as the servant of the point, but it seems my lady does not consider the Dundeaver mansion her home. After all, my lady has never shown any greed. When new toys were brought, the girl always refused. When the maid said she would bring more marshmallows after dinner, the girl never expressed joy. She only always replied that everything was fine and without any whimsy was dried by the maid's instructions. Suggests that Mia has no intention of living in this mansion any longer, although maybe the girl is a real genius. Father thinks about it and looks at the maid and says that Tina graduated from the Demon Academy in psychology and received a first-degree educational license. Tina says that's not enough, but His Highness is right. The man gets up from his seat and says that Tina should take on the education of the child. The father says that I am not the one who is afraid of happiness because I don't know who demons are. The father orders Tina to teach the girl the knowledge of the demonic world and remove everything that Nerafim has programmed into her head.